ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਕਾਰਨ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਭਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਡਾ ਅਸਰ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੇ ਜੇਕਰ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਅਣਗਿਣਤ ਲੋਕ ਆਪਣਾ ਰੁਜ਼ਗਾਰ ਗਵਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਨ। ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਫਿਰ ਅਹਿਮ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੰਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਰੁਸਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਫੰਡਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ।
Folks, this is a team that is working hard to deliver results, and today's incredible announcement is proof that we're getting things done. And I always want to take this opportunity to thank the wonderful, and I want to emphasize the wonderful teachers, EAs, principals, custodians, and education staff, everyone who's been working tirelessly to keep our schools safe and our classrooms open. This is a growing community, and there's a lot of young families. And we have to make sure we're keeping pace with that growth and investing in the future. That means getting shovels in the ground now on better transit, more hospital beds, and modern schools. Because every parent wants their child to have the access to the best education, to the best teachers and classrooms with an excellent learning environment. Our schools provide a solid foundation for our young people for their lifelong success. And we have to provide a solid foundation for our schools by making the necessary investments to rebuild and renovate. Over the next 10 years, we're investing $12 billion to build new schools and upgrade existing ones. And that includes new builds here in Etobicoke. And I'm thrilled to announce, after decades and decades of being ignored, we're here at the table. We're investing over $62 million to build 2 brand new Catholic secondary schools. These new schools will be able to accommodate over 2,000 students. We're providing $36 million for Bishop Allen Academy so they can build a brand new school that will accommodate 1,300 students. We've also approved over $26 million for another secondary school in Etobicoke Centre. This is great news. We're delivering a brand new school in Etobicoke Centre that will accommodate 900 students. And I have to thank Kinga and Christine for their hard work to get these 2 great projects off the ground. My friends, our schools are the heart of our community. When we invest in our schools, we're investing in our future, in the next generation of engineers, teachers, scientists, tradespeople. For me, it's one of the best investments our government can make. Before I pass it to the minister, I'd like to share a message with all small business owners out there. We know you're facing a lot of hardship right now. That's why we've committed to providing up to $300 million to support small businesses impacted by modified stage 2 restrictions with fixed cost. And I also want to be very clear. No small business owner should have to lose their life's work because their landlord wouldn't give them a break. And I know there are a lot of great landlords out there who are working very hard with their tenants. While we work with the federal government to extend the commercial rent relief program for small businesses, we'll be introducing legislation in the coming days to extend the ban on commercial evictions to protect small business owners.
ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਸਟੀਫਨ ਲੀਚੇ ਨੇ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨਵੇਂ ਸੈਕੰਡਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਇਟਪੀਕੋ ਲਈ $62.4 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਦੱਸ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ, ਸਮਾਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਫੰਡਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ।
And I was here at this school, in fact, just in August with our principal, Theresa Tam, who's just with us today. With our trustee, Theresa, and others. And I just want to say to you, Lisa, thank you so much for your hard work and advocacy, for helping me understand these needs, and really for rallying your community to give them hope that there's a new school coming to this amazing educational institution. Today's announcement is great news for students and educators, parents right here in Etobicoke, on Lakeshore, and in Etobicoke Centre. I want to start by thanking the Premier for his strong leadership and commitment to the students and families of this province. And as well, I want to just build upon the point for Kinga and Christine for their tireless advocacy to get these projects done. They're going to make a big difference in the lives of young people. Today's investment of more than $60 million will ensure that local students and their families have access to modern, state-of-the-art, and technologically connected schools. Overall, our government is investing, as the Premier noted, over $12 billion over the next decade within our schools. And that includes $550 million this year alone to build 20 new schools and upgrade 8 existing facilities. This funding is another example of how our government is leading the way to improve learning outcomes for our kids. Now, since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, our government has approved over $900 million in funding for education infrastructure, including 50 net new schools, 23 major additions to existing schools, and nearly 1,800 new licensed, affordable childcare spaces for the people of this province. These are just some of the elements we're doing, but beyond the bricks and the mortar, they are launching pads for lifelong learning and future success. Our government will continue to invest in students because we believe that the children of this province deserve every opportunity to realize their full potential. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to invite to the podium local Toronto Catholic District School Board Trustee Theresa Tam.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਸਵਦੇਸ਼ੀ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਲਈ $200 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਫੰਡ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਏਗੀ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਰੂਰਤ ਸੈਕੰਡਰੀ ਖਰਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ $25.9 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਏ ਜਾਣਗੇ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਔਨ ਰਿਜ਼ਰਵ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਢਾਂਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ।
I can also announce that we will invest over $25 million to help Indigenous post-secondary institutions with increased costs related to the pandemic. This will help retain staff, adapt courses for online learning, and implement public health and safety measures like additional hand-washing stations and safe space barriers. Finally, to keep people of every age safe, we will also provide $59 million to improve infrastructure in First Nations communities in order to meet a range of COVID-19 health and safety standards. This builds on the work already being done through the Indigenous Community Support Fund. Moving forward, we will continue to work with communities on what they need to protect people from this virus. Depuis le début, notre lutte contre la COVID-19 est guidée par la science. Notre gouvernement travaille de très près avec la communauté scientifique afin de pallier des besoins urgents tout en se dotant d'outils pour mieux combattre d'autres éventuelles pandémies. À ce sujet, nous sommes heureux d'annoncer un nouvel investissement par le biais du Centre national de recherche du Canada qui ira vers le programme Défis en réponse à la pandémie ainsi que le programme Solutions innovatrices Canada. 6 projets de recherche et développement ont été sélectionnés, d'entre lesquels, par exemple, certains ont pour but de développer des tests rapides pour détecter la COVID-19 à partir d'échantillons de salive sans instrument. In addition to this new investment from the National Research Council of Canada, we will also invest $2.5 million in a study on the rate of COVID-19 infection in travelers entering the country. These funds will allow researchers from McMaster University to continue their important work. This is part of our commitment to keep people safe and to support Canadian scientists. To rebuild a stronger economy, we need to have enough workers to maintain supply chains, allow businesses to expand, and create more jobs for Canadians. Whether in long-term care homes, the tech sector, or local restaurants, this crisis has highlighted the important contributions that newcomers make to our communities. So many sectors of our economy rely on their talent and dedication. Today, Minister Mendicino will present a plan on immigration and citizenship to help with our short-term economic recovery while also ensuring Canada's long-term prosperity. We must continue to pursue measured and responsible growth in this area to drive Canada's successes. I look forward to hearing more from the Minister in his announcement later this afternoon.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਚੀਫ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਥੈਰੇਸਾ ਨੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦੀਆਂ ਆਊਟਬ੍ਰੇਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 2 ਲੱਖ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਰ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ 10,000 ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਮੌਤ ਦੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਨ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਥੈਰੇਸਾ ਨੇ ਗ੍ਰਾਫਿਕਸ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦੇ ਆਊਟਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ।
We're providing an update on the national epidemiology and modeling work that informs the ongoing management of COVID-19 in Canada. Canada has marked 2 tragic milestones since the last detailed epidemiological update. We have diagnosed over 200,000 cases of COVID-19 in Canada, and very sadly for all Canadians, we have lost more than 10,000 lives. Our sincere condolences go out to all who have lost loved ones throughout the course of the pandemic. In the following presentation, we'll have a closer look at the regional and demographic epidemiology of COVID-19 in Canada and discuss how that impacts the national pandemic picture. On slide 2, the number of cases reported nationally remains above peak levels seen during the first wave, with an average of close to 2,800 cases reported daily over the last week. Quebec and Ontario case numbers significantly impact the national curve, accounting for over 75% of all cases reported since the beginning of the pandemic and continuing to account for the majority of cases. Slide 3. Canada's pandemic experience is characterized by regional epidemics that vary considerably across the country. The growth in Quebec case counts has appeared to gradually stabilize, but still averaging around 1,000 cases daily during recent weeks. At the same time, over the past 2 weeks, British Columbia, the Prairie Provinces, and Ontario have all marked their highest daily case count since the beginning of the pandemic. We have seen some clusters of cases within the Atlantic bubble, notably with New Brunswick implementing stronger regional public health measures to limit further spread. And in the territories, while a few travel-related cases have been identified recently, and one cluster is currently under investigation in the Yukon, there has been no widespread community transmission.
ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਾਰਕੋ ਮੈਡੀਸਨੇ ਨੇ 2021-22-23 ਦੇ ਲਈ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਦਾ ਉਦੇਸ਼ ਅਗਲੇ 3 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਥਾਨਕ ਨਿਵਾਸੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵੀਕਾਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ।
Very happy to be here today with Joe. And Joe, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Minister Fortier and Minister Marco Mendicino. I just wanted to thank you for visiting us at the Thali restaurant. And I just wanted to share a small little bit of my story, how I immigrated to Canada and how I am doing right now. So after immigrating to Canada in 1998, from a very highly populated state of Kerala in India, I was given a lot of opportunity by generous people. And the Canadian system allowed me to grow a family, 2 businesses which I am proud to satisfy my life purpose. I am thankful that we are opening the gates to offer more of this opportunity to others, and so that they may achieve success as well as grow our nation. Immigration is not an economic advantage, but it is a moral cause. There are many living in hundreds of countries starving for their life, and we live in abundance. Let us share this opportunity and happiness through immigration so that we can all grow. Let us share to care. I am proud to call this country my home, and thank you everyone, including the Minister, for making this opportunity possible and allowing to me to share the story. Thank you and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and what an inspirational way to start a wonderful announcement today. And as we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're gathered on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin people. And thank you all for joining us today and for bearing with some of the cold. And what could be more Canadian than the story and the amazing person behind the Thali restaurant here in downtown Ottawa? Chef Joe, your story is one of relentless perseverance. Landing in Toronto from Trishu, a town in the South Indian state of Kerala, in 1998, Joe had the drive and the desire. He opened up his first restaurant, Coconut Lagoon, 16 years ago, and it quickly became a resounding success in Ottawa. As Chef Joe was piling food onto the plates of happy customers, the awards were piling up for Joe. He continued down the successful path, culminating in the publishing of a cookbook, which I have been just gifted, so thank you very much for that, and the opening of a second restaurant 2.5 years ago, and here we are today. Chef Joe is, by any measure, a success story, running a business and employing around 30 people. But that's not the whole story. 1 month into the pandemic, Tali, like so many small businesses affected by COVID-19, was forced to temporarily close its doors. The chef focused on his efforts in its first location, but tragically just a few months ago into the pandemic, there was a devastating fire.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਾਡੇ ਚੈਨਲ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਤੇ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ YouTube ਤੇ।